Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the 7th day of Kwanzaa. This is the final contemplation for Kwanzaa for this year. The theme is faith, Imani. And for those of you that watch me on my channel regularly, you'll know that this is a topic I'm quite comfortable with. And tonight I have decided to go out of my comfort zone. And what I mean by that is I am using a deck that I am not familiar with. It's a deck that a lot of you had asked me after I did my Goddess Oracle video if what I thought of this deck. And so I'm just getting to know it. And so I thought this was a perfect contemplation for this deck. And so it's the Dark Goddess Tarot by Ellen Lorenzi Prince. And one thing I do want to say is that if there's anyone who has the original version of the deck that is not relating to it, I would love to have that in hand. I'm not really crazy about these slippery cards, and I need to do some research to find out what the card stock was like with the original deck. So I'm using tonight the Dark Goddess Tarot, and I will be referring to the guidebook as needed. Imani. How strong is my faith in myself, my family, my community? And how do I encourage my family and community to grow, value accomplishment and success, keep commitments, and stay on purpose? So, wowza. Again, just moved tremendously by your videos. And I still have several to watch, and I plan to go back, even if it's weeks from now, and review them. I think it will also help me in integrating some of the messages and the just the feeling of the energy of these principles of Kwanzaa. So let's go ahead and flip the camera and do the spread for Imani faith. It's a really big deck. It's hard for me to wrap my hands around. So I've been shuffling it in 2 piles. Okay, so Imani faith. I'm working with Shakti. I've shared this with some of you. I've started a Shakti self-study this year. Has a little bit of mantra, reading, reflections, journaling, and kind of glad I got this deck, actually. I think it's going to go really well with that. There are many, well, I can talk about it in a separate video. Let's just focus on the theme and the principles at hand. Faith. Where is my faith? What is my faith? How strong is my faith? How can I help to nourish the faith in others? Another word I love to use is trust. Trust. Slightly different connotation between faith and trust. For me, trust is fully embodied. And so as I'm asking these questions, that's what's in my mind. That's what's in my heart. Yes, and I also have my noisy teenager down the hall. So sorry for the giggles, if you can hear them. Okay, I'm ready to cut, I think. And I think I will look at the shadow tonight as well, too. Alrighty, so we have, again, 7 cards. 1, 2, 3. And then 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Kind of nervous about this, actually. If you're interested, the shadow is the 6 of water. The 6 of water, and that is Tefnut, Egyptian. Okay, I'm just going to put that to the side. And then we're going to go to the first question, which is, how strong is my faith in myself? That looks pretty rooted and pretty strong. I actually love that an earth suit card came out here. To me, this feels super connected. And one of the things about this deck is I'm really looking forward to familiarize myself with these aspects of Shakti, of which I am not familiar at all. And of course, I don't know how to pronounce many of their names. She is the wild woman of the woods, native to the rainforests of the Pacific Northwest. Wow, so that's where I live. The wild woman of the woods, she can be dreadful to encounter, a hairy black giantess with pendulous breasts and red pursed lips. Another name for her is whistling woman, and another is wealth giver, for the riches of the forest she holds. Her call is the sound of the wind blowing through the cedars. Okay, so one of the things that is so obvious here is my connection to the cedars, to the forest. And this energy is something that I fully embrace, and I love its earthiness. So that's amazing. I feel very privileged that card is here. And then we have Banshee, 9 of air. Ooh, that's a howling, windy card. Very, to me, feels very high pitched and cold. So how strong my faith is in my family. Whew, that was just a big gasp for air from me. What I feel here is that, and I know this is partially connected to the disjointedness of what's happening with medicine practices of one of my daughters, who I mentioned before. I think what's really important here is that the wind is a massive transformer of energy. And this is something that I really love to embrace. And when I went up to the lookout at the beginning of the day and stood there in the wind as it was blowing through my hair and my clothing, I just remember this really wise teacher reminding me how important it was to embrace that element. And so Banshee, 9 of air, is how strong my faith is in my family. So it's quite scattered. And this is my community. This is 9 of earth. My community. My community means my brothers and sisters in my yoga lineage. My community is wide. And so again, we have an earthy card that's full of 3s. And so this resonates, this sits with me. I feel supported. I feel the abundance of my community, my teachers, my fellow yogis. my friends on YouTube, how strong my faith is. So it's that feels like trust. It really does. That feels good. So the one here that is maybe needing some love and kindness and space and reflection and meditation is family. And I can also feel my throat right now, like I want to cough. And so, yeah, that's pretty clear. Number 4, how do I encourage my family and community to grow? How do I encourage them to grow? Kamui Fuji, 4 of fire. Well, she's happy. Gathering. I like this. Yeah, I do. Encourage them to gather. Encourage them to come together. To eat, to workshop, to study, to have a ceremony. I love it that they're just all from all over the world. You know, they're not just all from one place. Aphrodite is the siren of water. And this is, how do I encourage my family and community to value accomplishment and success? With love, with kindness, with poetry, by delivering messages of love, by letting people be seen, by commenting on their videos, by acknowledging them, by writing letters to them. There's a lot of love here. And a messenger of love. I like that. A messenger of love. Okay. And then we have Baba Yaga. This is the hermit. This is so funny. When one of the daughter who's down the hall is making all the noise. No, it wasn't her. It was the daughter that I struggled with when she was little. It's so funny. I get all my kids mixed up. I think she was in grade 1 or 2 or 3. Let's see, grade 3 maybe. And they did a play about Baba Yaga. When I saw this card was in here, it reminded me of all those years ago. So the Hermit card is keep commitments. How do I encourage them to keep commitments? That's actually really cool. So by reminding them to turn within, by encouraging them to focus on, not right, to make their meditation practices a priority, giving them lots of resources and ideas for going within, and also to be the light, the guiding light in how to do this. This is going to be really fun to read the descriptions for all of these cards. And the last one is stay on purpose. So again, another earthy card. So what I'm picking up on here is that the element of earth is quite critical. Critical, is that a word? Is important to my faith. It's important to my faith. It's important to how I share my faith. It's important how I reach out to people. So that earthy quality is, which I love and I totally relate to, is going to help me with my faith and with sharing my faith and helping others to move into trust. So this is 7 of earth. Love is patient, love is kind. And I'm going to look this one up because I would love to just read one or part of one to you. Okay. Other than the slippery cards that are too thick and difficult to shuffle, I'm really quite loving this. Oh, and I just noticed, so we have 6, 7, and 9 of earth, right? 6, 7, and 9 of earth. We also have 9 of air. So 2 9s. Over there on the left, there's a 6, a 9, and a 9. That's a lot of 3s, which, I see 3s as divinity, trinities. So that's cool. So over there in this triangle, this trinity shape here, we have all these 3s. That's very cool. 4, siren, hermit. Hermit again. That's a lot of 3s. Okay, so I'm going to read to you from Ereshkigal, Sumerian goddess of the underworld. So this is how I help people to stay on purpose. She's the goddess of death and queen of the underworld. She's known mostly through Inanna's story of descent and resurrection. Though Inanna suffers when she journeys below, it is due to her trespassing, not because the underworld is a place of punishment. I'm just going to say E for her name because I don't want to, I need to learn how to say it correctly. E's realm is a spiritual place that opens up for the dead after their burial. It is their proper place, as the heavens are the proper place of the gods. Those who are dying pray for the lady of the great place to receive them, and that they may be fortunate enough to find a place near her feet and never wander lost upon the earth. In the well-ordered universe of Sumer, the underworld has rules even the gods must obey. No one may return to the land of the living, and no one may rule both above and below. I'm going to just skip down to when she appears. Intuitive leaps are the result of powerful but subterranean processes. Trust the one that emerges from the depths over the one coming from you at left field. Okay, so she's deep. She's deep. She's subterranean. She is the heartbeat of the earth. Though the consequences may not be apparent or just, certain rules cannot be broken and some should not be broken. Know which are which. Success does not come from intemperate or injudicious action. Symbols can lose meaning and omens become lost if attention is not paid. Keeping a record over time reveals patterns at work. Yes, that's important. Discoveries await you. Keep digging. Keep digging. So she's about the subconscious. She's about the unconscious. She's about the karmic patterns. When magical tools have lost their power and purity, recharge them in the earth for 7 days before cleansing and reconsecration. Okay. The key phrase is the oldest roots grow in the deepest places. The oldest roots grow in the deepest places. All right. I want to do one more thing before I leave you today. So I'm just going to go to here. And I thought it might be kind of fun to pull a card from this deck, the Goddess deck by Susan Sedamboulet, just to see if we get a double of any of these. And then I'm going to have a look at that 6 of water too, which is another 3-3. Really interesting. Okay. So normally in a deck that is so different like this, I wouldn't do such a large spread. I've just been asking one question and then pulling a card. So I feel like it's going to take me a little bit to pull this all together. But I do not feel appropriation in any way. I feel quite a lot of love, actually. and all these aspects of Shakti looking back at me. Another single card pull that might be good with this is to pull a weaver from the Weaver's Oracle too. Yeah, okay. All right. So is there another goddess whose voice would like to come forward, who has a message for me about my faith and how I can help, how I can guide or myself or others to live more in trust? Which goddess do I need to call on for that support? Oh, I get this card quite often. This is Flora, Roman goddess of flowers, gardens, and spring. Okay, so another really earthy card. So what's coming? Flora teaches us to honor growing things, both inside and outside. She's a reminder to pay attention to pleasure, the beauty of spring, new life, whenever it is found. So what's coming through here for me definitely is earth. Oh, I'll show you the card. I'll go back and do this. And that was a Roman goddess of flowers and gardens, Flora. Okay. This is really fun, actually. I like this. I like this inquiry. Okay, I have one other goddess deck here, just because. This is the Kuan Yin Oracle. Now, this is the mini one. Oops, I don't want to knock these candles over. This deck, because of the illustrations, I don't really feel necessarily the Kuan Yin energy, but I feel it's caring, and I feel it's the messages are beautifully written, and I do love the artwork. It's just that it feels odd to call it a Kuan Yin deck. I think it's more of I don't know. I mean, Kuan Yin is an aspect of Shakti. Kuan Yin is an aspect of Shakti. Not always. Kuan Yin was an aspect of the divine masculine at one point, and then that shifted. Anyway, I do feel the divine energy that radiates from this deck. It's just I have trouble with the it's hard to describe what I'm trying to say here. If you know what I'm trying to describe, maybe you can write those words in the comments. Okay, so we're going to go to this one. Change is in the air. Change is in the air. Sometimes we take things for granted and forget to stop and realize how incredible the ordinary things can be. Growth does often seem improbable, yet it happens every day in many ways. So too is something growing in your life that seems at the moment unlikely or impossible. Yet it will happen anyway. Have faith, trust your feelings, and relax. Well, there you go. That's a lot of goddess energy in one reading. So thank you. Thank you for joining me through these 7 spreads, 7 reflections, 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And I may do a recap video. It will not be for weeks. I just need to spend some time going through each of the 7 principles and finding the threads finding the threads. And I definitely will be doing this again next year. And it is my intention to create more space for it so that I can upload the videos right away, or perhaps even do lives next year around this, because these are incredible questions to reflect upon. And I would love to do these lives because it's fun to be spontaneous. And the last video for me, the 6th day, was very challenging, and there were a lot of pregnant pauses, many actually, which I edited out. I just sat there in silence staring at the cards. I almost reshot the video, but you got the real thing, just a few of the gaps I took out. So yeah. So thank you. Habari Gani.